This can give you additional 50 points. But once you clock 30, you start to lose 5 marks every year. So let's say, for instance, 600 points added to your score.
Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chioma if you're new here, and I make videos that's going to make your move to Canada smoother, okay? And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for, being obsessed with my pretty face. Your CRS score can make or break your express entry application, and it can determine how quickly you can get invited. That's how quickly you can get an invitation to apply. And it can also mean that you might be in the pool for months. Good news is that there are realistic ways to increase your CRS score and improve your chances of being invited. So first things first, CRS stands for Comprehensive Ranking System, and it's a point system that IRCC uses to rank candidates in the express entry pool. Your score is based on factors like age, level of education, work experience, language ability, that is if you can speak English or French, spouse or partner's credential, Canadian education or work experience. It can also be based on additional factors such as job offer, like if you have a job offer in Canada, if you have provincial nomination, or if you have a sibling in Canada. So we are going to be talking about this in details. All right, so how it works is that the higher your CRS score is, the higher your chances of being invited. And an ITA means invitation to apply. And what are we applying for? Permanent residency. So the first way to boost your CRS score is to improve your language score. In my previous video, I talked about how I worked really hard to max out my IELTS exam because I needed to get certain scores in my IELTS in order to get all the scores that I can get under the language test. So don't think it's the end of the world when you get lower score in your language test. You can write it again. You can rewrite your language test. It is worth the investment. Okay, probably heard stories of people that wrote IELTS exam multiple times. Okay, I mean, it's for a reason. It's not because they are failing IELTS. Maybe some people do fail IELTS, but like for most people, it's because they need to max out IELTS. Another thing that you can do in order to max out your IELTS is to remark. So if you are pretty confident in what you wrote, you can apply for a remark. For me, if you watched my previous video as well, one of them, I talked about the fact that I remarked my IELTS writing, and that was because I had gotten all the, like, I maxed out listening, I maxed out reading, I maxed out speaking. But for you to max out writing, you have to get minimum 7.5, and I had gotten 7. All right, so I was like, you know what, I'm pretty confident in what I wrote. Let me go ahead and remark. I paid to remark, but because my score was increased, so I was given extra 0.5 marks, which gave me my desired score, which was now 7.5. And then, I maxed out with that. So because there was an increase, I was able to get a refund. So if they go through your work and they think that they are going to stick with the previous score and there will be no increase, they would not refund you. But if they increase your score, they are going to give you a refund. Another powerful way to boost your CRS score is to increase your education level. So now if you are a WAEC holder, you're going to get a higher CRS if you can go from WAEC to BSc. And if you're a BSc holder, you're going to get a higher CRS if you can go from BSc to Masters. And if you're a master's degree holder, you can get a higher score going for a PhD program. And I even think if you're a BSc degree holder, you can actually get higher score if you do a postgraduate degree. So the higher your level of education, the higher your CRS score. Okay, and I have to point out that if you are a medical doctor like me, or you are into the your degree is actually equivalent to a master's degree. So the score that you get is actually the same as the person that has a master's. So there is no need to go and start doing additional masters if you have any of these degrees. If you don't have the money to go for a master's, you can do a diploma degree or a diploma certificate. I don't know what they call it, but you understand, even a 1-year program gives you, a significant amount of additional, like a significant increase in your CRS, and you don't want to leave any score on the table. I know about people that had to do masters, had to do PhD just to get as much score as possible. And this is very important if your age is already a limiting factor. What do I mean by that? So in case you don't know, you get, for age, right, you get the highest score if you are below 30, right? So if you are maybe 20, 21, 22, 20, you get the highest score for age. So you don't even need to max out age or anything, you already settled. But once you clock 30, you start to lose 5 marks every year. So let's say, for instance, you joined the pool at 28 and your score then was 500, and for some reasons you were not, you didn't get an ITA and something just happened, or okay, not 500, there's no way you don't get an ITA with 500, but like with the way IRCC has been moving these days, it's even possible. But I digress. So let's say your score was like 300, okay, and you joined, you created your express entry pool at 29. Let's use 29. And in that 1 year you didn't get ITA, then your birthday comes and you clock 30, your score is going to drop to 250. And then if by the next year your score will drop again, as you are clocking 31 like this, your score is dropping to 200. If you are approaching 30 anytime soon, you will have to look for ways to start boosting your CRS, because age, like your age is already taken away from your score, so you don't even want to play any games. Do you understand? This is not to mount pressure on anyone, but like you have to be strategic with this. Like these things don't come by luck, you have to be strategic. Number 3 way to boost your CRS score is to gain more work experience. Okay, so I mean, if you have just 1 year work experience, you cannot get the highest score allocated to work experience. Okay, for you to get that, you have to have like 3 to 4 years work experience. Okay, that's not to say you should not join the pool if you don't meet that. Like join the pool once you get to 1 year, but I'm just saying you can update your work experience once you hit the 2-year mark, and then again if you use, like when you hit the 3-year mark, if you're still in the pool. So as you update your work experience, you would actually get more scores. The highest work experience is allocated to people that have 3 years and above. I remember when I joined the pool, I was like 2 years and like 8 months, and it didn't count because like I only got score for 2 years. That 8 months was almost nothing because it didn't count for anything. So yeah, you can update as you progress in your career. If you're already in Canada as a student or as a work permit holder, getting 1 or 2 years of skilled Canadian work experience can significantly increase your CRS score. Just make sure that your job is under a valid NOC code, usually tier 0, 1, 2, or 3, and that your documentation will support it. The fourth way to boost your CRS score is to add French as your second language. Even if you are not fluent in French, just having a basic knowledge of French can give you a huge advantage. So if you've been following the express entry draws of this year, you can see that they have been giving people that know French. The French, I think they call them the French experience class or the French speaking class. I don't know, I'll put it on the screen. But you see that their CRS scores are usually lower than everybody's own, because Canada is actually trying to draw in more people that speak French. So if it is very easy for you to learn languages, if it's very easy for you to get fluent in a new language, I'm going to advise that you pick up French, go to a tutorial, watch YouTube video, do Duolingo, I don't know, but like just look for a way to learn French, write their exam, and include it in your profile. This can give you additional 50 points. So the number 5 way to boost your CRS, get a provincial nomination. It's also called a PNP. This is a big game changer, because when you get a PNP, you would get additional 600 points added to your score. Is that not crazy? So even if you have the least score, even if you have 200, even if you have 300, imagine what your score is going to be when they add 600 to your score. So this is this is worth exploring, guys, especially if age is no longer on your side. Like, I don't like using that term, but like if you are like in your 30s or like you're in your 40s and you don't have a sibling in Canada, we're going to get there. But like if your English score, you've been like rewriting IELTS for years now, and your age is taken from your scores, and you're just tired of writing, you can just go for PNP. Okay, you can go for PNP. So each province has its own criteria. Okay, so you have to look into that. I'm going to see if I can get links and drop them in the description box, so that if you're interested in doing PNP, you should go there and get more information on that. Okay, I know that how it basically works. Again, I didn't do PNP, so I don't know much about this. So you have to do the research on your own and look for the pathway that is best for you. So, but I know that in a nutshell, you're going to apply to the province. I think it's called indication of interest or something like that. So you're going to make a payment and apply to them, and then when they approve, they will now nominate you. When they accept, or when they approve, they will now nominate you, and then after they have nominated you, you will now get the additional 600 points to increase your score. The only thing about PNP is that when you get a PNP from a province, let's say for instance Ontario, you get PNP from Ontario, what it means is that you must live in Ontario for at least 3 years. Okay, but when you get a federal ITA, you can live anywhere in Canada, right? But when you get a PNP, when a province nominates you, either Alberta, Ontario, you have to live in that province for 3 years before you can move to another province, and it's just a little bit more expensive. And another thing that I'm going to tell you is that even though I didn't do PNP, I can remember vividly that some people that got ITA the same time that I got my ITA, and they did PNP, it took, their processing time is always longer. I don't know why, because again, I did not do it. But that is one thing I noticed on the group chat that I was a part of then. It was an established fact that people that went through PNP, their own processing time takes longer. So the 6th way to boost your CRS score is to get a valid job offer in Canada. Okay, getting a job offer gives you additional points. So a valid LMIA approved job offer from a Canadian employer can give you somewhere from 50 to 200 additional points depending on the knock level. This is harder, but it is definitely not impossible. If you are targeting this route, make sure that the job offer is genuine and it meets IRCC's requirements. Focus on high demand occupations and use verified job platforms such as Job Bank, Indeed, LinkedIn, Indeed. Just be very careful because there are a lot of scammers out there and you can actually get a fake job offer. Okay, and IRCC verifies everything, so they will verify your job offer. So just make sure that whoever you're dealing with or whatever company you are dealing with is legit. The seventh way to boost your CRS is to claim spousal points. If you are applying with a spouse, their profile can actually increase your CRS score. You can improve your CRS score by your partner taking an English test or a language test and getting their education assessed, like evaluated, is going to actually help. And then claiming points for their Canadian work experience. So if your partner has a Canadian work experience, it's going to give you guys additional points. Sometimes switching principal applicants from one person to another can even increase your CRS points, so you should consider that. Take for instance a couple, one is 25 years old, the other one is 35. Okay, it would be better if the 25-year-old becomes the principal applicant, because like we've established, for every year from 30 you will lose 5 scores. So the partner who is 35 is already like, they've lost, I mean, do the maths, they've lost a lot of scores already. That's one CRS score is for the both of you. So I like it feel like Ojoro, but like, I mean, but like that's really cool. Okay, so you guys should see if you can switch the principal applicants. You can switch to whoever is younger or whoever has more work experience or whoever scores, you know, a better language test. So the number 8 way to boost your CRS is to get additional points through other factors, and these factors include: number 1, if you have a sibling in Canada who is a permanent resident or a citizen, you can get additional points from them. Number 2, by completing a Canadian study program. Number 9 way to boost your CRS is to recreate or update your express entry profile. If you've improved your points by improving your education, your work experience, any of these factors, do not forget to update your express entry profile or even create a new one, because I heard that IRCC actually favors recent accounts with high scores, so it can actually help to create a whole new profile when you've applied all that we've talked about. Boosting your CRS score takes strategy and not luck. You may not be able to do anything about your age, but you can certainly improve your work experience, your language test. You can do provincial nomination. Even a small increase of additional 20 or 30 points can make all the difference. I don't know if I told you guys, but when I got ITA, if I'd left the last 6 points of my score on the table, I wouldn't have been here today. Okay, so imagine if I didn't max out my IELTS, I would have missed out on that score. And ever since that score, there has not been any healthcare draw that was as low as that my score. So you don't want to leave any score on the table. You don't want to leave any points on the table. So at every given point in time, make sure that you're doing your absolute best and leaving the rest to God, because honestly, there is a huge part of grace and favor of God in play in this entire journey. So in all you do, make sure that you are praying to God and asking for his favor, okay? So that brings us to the end of the video, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Please do well to give this video a thumbs up, okay, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.